Welcome to the Love Local Chicagoland Podcast. Here we invite people from our local communities to share their stories and their voices. Through amplifying their message, we share their genuine human experiences that connect us all. Our goal is to make our communities more than just a place to live, but instead, a place to thrive. Tune in to hear what makes our communities so special right here on the Love Local Chicagoland Podcast.
The Love Local Chicagoland Podcast is made possible with the generous support of our community partners. Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Love Local Chicagoland Podcast. I'm super excited to be here today with two good friends. They're the co-founders of Gerry's Cafe. It's a cafe located in Arlington Heights where you can get a great cup of coffee. We like to call it a cup of joy, and great food as well. I would say it's a craft food that is absolutely delicious. I go there for both breakfast and lunch with my wife when we drop off our kids to school, my friends. I'm super excited to introduce you to Natalie and Amy. They're really good people. And we got to meet in the beginning of COVID, actually in one of our first Love Local videos that we ever did in my backyard, because the world was just weird at that time. But they're doing really good things, and they're helping people get jobs, and they're helping serve the community with great coffee, inclusion, and delicious food, my friends. I am super excited to introduce you to both Natalie and Amy. Welcome to the show, ladies. So thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So I want to ask so many questions, but I just want to start. I want to have you each introduce yourselves. So Natalie, I'll have you introduce yourself first.
Yeah, Natalie, Griffin, and I'm a former special ed teacher, and had seen that students that I used to teach were now adults, just did not have job opportunities. And that was the first inspiration at the very beginning.
Yeah.
To see a way that I could provide job opportunities and a place for adults with disabilities to work and to feel accepted and included.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So when you thought you were retiring, my friend, it feels like you were just getting started. Well, excited to hear more about that story as we continue to evolve. Amy, Philpott, introduce yourself.
Hi, Amy Philpott. Live in Palatine. Have been a small business owner in the area. That's where I met Natalie once upon a time. Tuscan Market and Wine Shop in downtown Arlington Heights. So I owned that for a while, and then thought I was going to retire for a little bit. Sold the shop, and 5 days later jumped into real estate. So I'm a real estate broker in the northwest suburbs, and now co-founder as well with Natalie on Gerry's Cafe, which we embarked upon in 2018. Yes.
2018. It feels like a long time ago, but does it? Yeah.
I don't know. You blink and
it's
all sorts
gone.
of crazy happens.
You have a pandemic. But yeah, you're like a serial entrepreneur for good kind of thing is what I'm hearing you say. But you're doing things for good as you continue to serve the community with your real estate business as well. So I would love for our audience to hear, how did Gerry's Cafe come to be? It's a really beautiful story. I'll let either one of you go first, but how did it come to be?
Yeah. Originally, I came up with the idea just from looking at social media. I had seen a coffee shop in North Carolina, and they were employing adults with disabilities. And I kept watching it and thinking, is this real? Is this authentic? And needed to see for myself. So I traveled down there and spent 2 full days in Biddy and Bo's coffee shop in North Carolina. And I was so in awe of these young people, these adults who were doing the jobs independently. And the customers, when they came in the door, just burst into smile. And the engagement that I saw between the two, the community, the customers and the employees just really was something that warmed my heart. And I thought, we could have this in Arlington Heights. This kind of business would really do well in our community.
And were you working at this time, or did you retire?
I was a substitute teacher.
Okay, cool.
So I like to call Gerry's my Act 3. So I was in the process of retiring from as a substitute teacher at the time, but really looking for that full-time opportunity, and decided instead of the classroom, I could put my efforts toward after school age, because what I see is the schools provide awesome opportunities for all the way to age 22. But at age 22, everything drops off. No more public service.
Hmm.
And so then these adults are ready and eager and want to work and want to prove themselves, but they have no opportunities. Businesses just do not hire.
So what do they do then? Like,
They're at home, they're alone, they're isolated.
oh, wow.
There are programs they can pay for, but those are, costly, and they have not a lot of openings.
So
Recreational.
you're helping them. You're helping them feel like they're a part of something. You're getting them out of the house.
Have purpose.
Have purpose.
A
You're
place to
helping them
go.
get a paycheck and contribute. That's pretty beautiful.
Mhm.
I didn't know all the stuff that you said before, just about kind of how they were. Like, what do they do? Like, if you don't,
Right.
so what?
And-
My question is, like, if they don't have, if a town doesn't have Gerry's Cafe, what do those people do? What happens to them?
Right. And in high school, they are a part of a social group, a part of a place to go, a part of a routine. And they have purpose and they have skills, talents, abilities they're ready to share. So it was really looking at the business community that just was maybe fearful of hiring because they didn't understand, but just there's not a lot of job opportunities. The grocery stores are the place that we typically see people who are hired as baggers. But my neighbor, whose daughter is a 27-year-old woman with Down syndrome, said, what if my daughter doesn't want to be a grocery bagger the rest of her life?
Mhm.
What if she has other aspirations? What if she wants to do something else? And those are things that we were looking at. And I knew I couldn't do this alone. I knew I needed support with a business woman who has skills, talents, and expertise and experience. So I did reach out to Amy at that time and shared this idea. And we talked many times, but it just is wanting to provide opportunities for people who deserve to be recognized, valued, and seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful, and thank you for sharing that. And Amy, you're part of the story. Like, this hits really home for you. Can you share a little bit about your side of
Sure.
this story?
Yeah, well, when Natalie came with the idea just to brainstorm a little bit, being the business side of things, I'm like, whoa, slow your roll here, Tiger.
Do you get your spreadsheet open? Like, paint us a picture.
I was like, no, we don't sign a lease first and work backwards. We actually have to figure this out. So not being the Debbie Downer, literally took an idea that, with Natalie's enthusiasm and said, we got to pump the brakes here. Let's create a plan. And navigate through. And as we were
she's
going,
the dreamer. Is that what I hear?
she's the dreamer, and I'm the
you're
Debbie Downer.
Yeah. My wife's. I'm the dreamer. And my wife, I call her the dream crusher.
Yeah.
We need her.
I'm
really
the
bad,
process
yeah.
person.
Yeah, you need
Oddly
that,
enough,
100%.
even though a lot of times I kind of freewheel. So going through this process, just some of the basic things. I mean, we started aligning ourselves with really smart people. Some of them looked at us like we were pretty crazy. Big idea. Go big or go home was kind of the philosophy in many senses. But it was so funny. One of the hardest things we were struggling with was the name of our cafe. And we're months into this. Like, the attorneys are asking, we need a name, we need a DBA and whatever. And Natalie and I were hanging out at breakfast one morning. Just out of nowhere, I just looked at her and I'm like, did you ever know my aunt was born with Down syndrome? And within the first few moments of her life, they looked at my grandparents with not excitement, but with sadness. And basically said, oh, not joy. It was the opposite. And they recommended immediately that they consider an institution for her, simply because of, again, lack of care, lack of thought, lack of process, just,
understanding.
Yeah, lack of understanding. And also healthcare issues. But that was an absolute no for my grandparents.
What year was that? Like, give some context.
1958. 1958, yeah. Right. So really not that long ago. No. And my aunt's name is Geraldine with a G, and hence and they called her Gerry. Her name was Gerry. She lived, instead of passing away so early in her life, she actually made it till just about her 4th birthday. And instead of fear and disruption, which was the biggest call sign that the professionals were saying, it was quite the opposite. They said the house was just alive and so joyful, and her legs didn't work the greatest, so she had this little scooter, and her vocabulary is developing, but everybody knew Gerry was coming hot rod around the corner because she had to say hi to you. And So when she did pass away, it was a big loss for everybody. It's simply because her spirit was missing, but her heart stayed alive with them forever.
And still bringing joy.
And she's back.
And she's back with a cup of joy.
Yeah, she's back in the form of a cafe, helping her peers.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's legacy. You don't know how you'll impact people after you're gone, and obviously that didn't go through a 4-year-old's head. But you look here,
Absolutely.
60 some years later, and you have this story to tell. You have this cafe that you built that you're helping. Is it 22 employees? Is that the
37?
37 employees.
Yeah,
okay.
very proudly 37.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So I can only imagine the amount of stories and things that you've seen. You've been open a little bit more than a year now. It was a year in August, right? So can you share some stories around your mission and stories of impact that you have?
The stories that excite me the most are the personal human beings that I've seen them grow and develop over this last 14 months. One young woman in particular, at the beginning of her job, she was eager to work and excited, but she was nervous and she was anxious and several times broke down in tears. She would not give eye contact. She does have autism, and so she just wasn't very engaging, and she was reserved and, like I said, tearful and eyes always looking down, diverted. When I go in now and she is our barista, she greets me with eye contact, a smile. Hi, Natalie. So good to see you. What are you doing? She now initiates conversation with me about how was your weekend? And she says, well, over the weekend, I went to the movies with a friend I met at Gerry's. So what I am seeing is this person who had she stayed home, had she stayed just without opportunity to work, she would not have developed this ability to engage with other people and have conversation and initiate conversation. She wouldn't have friends that she's socializing with. What this has done for her life, and it's definitely changed her life, and her parents can testify to that. And Beautiful. She loves to spend her paychecks and buy things for herself. She's got that, money, and now it's hers. But she earned it.
Yeah.
And she's a hard worker, very hard worker.
It's beautiful. I love going in there, and my wife and I recently went in there, and it was a bad day, or we were feeling those bad nerves, and you have a cup of joy on the, it's part of your tagline, but it's really what you feel when you go there. Like you leave happier. And it's because the people that are there, I feel like they're showing love for the right reasons, if that makes any sense. That rubs off on you too. And I think that goes just so far. And it's one of the reasons why I think people need to stop and have a cup of joy, grab a bite and experience Gerry's Cafe. What are some stories of impact for you?
Well, I really think after a couple weeks of just having our employees training, we had purposeful on-the-job paid training before we ever opened. And one gentleman walked up and he had his physical paycheck in his hand, 54 years old, said, "This is the first paycheck I've ever received." 54 years old, first paycheck he's ever received.
Wow.
He was so proud, so excited. And Natalie dovetailed on the topic of they've earned the money. They're being paid a fair wage for their work. We're not a service related. We're not a school. We don't have job coaches. We have employees. So they're performing the work. Our teammates and staff are performing the work, and they're growing and developing. And to me, that right there proved our point of lack of work for a gentleman of 54 years old that's very capable, very talented. He made my lunch the other day, and I ate the other half today. It was delicious. And he runs the close and the show and get out of the way. This is their cafe, and they know the jobs and roles. And that's what's super awesome to see. And now the process that we're moving into, moving forward, is some growth from within, is trying to grow, move some people up.
Like succession planning and that type of stuff.
Exactly.
Give people goals to work after.
This is
grow.
A place of business. So trying to put those business principles into place is what's super important. And then just watching the friendships. I love walking in there because they give me a lot of grief. They like to tease me. It's fun. I go there and it recenters me.
Oh, for sure.
And it's theirs. So it's their place. I think that for me, we created a cafe that they have all the tools to be successful in their job. We did not skimp. We had amazing partners and donations. We are a non-for-profit, so our expenses are high, but they have the tools to be successful, and they are being successful. They're moving in different roles and jobs, and just watching people move around in different positions, that is success.
Yeah.
We don't limit our expectations, and they have grown through the roof in their wanting to prove themselves, to show they can do the job, and they are surpassing all expectations. They are, as Amy said, we're, within, the managers have noticed there is room for growth here to expand and to move into the next level. And so this 37 employees, and we are proud of that because we offered job opportunities for that many people in our community who can make a difference in their lives.
So, and I love that. So 37 employees, but how many people in the community could benefit from this? What's that percentage?
Oh my gosh.
It's a big number.
It is a large number. We do have a waiting list. We do want to hire more. The reach outs that we get, the emails that we get, the more people from the surrounding communities come to our community and build a Gerry's Cafe here. I get emails through our website that I respond to, people with autism but capable and want to get a job at Gerry's, all different ages, and see that they could benefit from having that employment. But we need to just work on what we have right now.
Sure. Yeah.
But we hope, and our plan is maybe come spring, we can expand and add more opportunities for more people.
Yeah. Beautiful. I think I looked at it from more of a macro perspective. In order for, you guys are a nonprofit, but very business-like with being a brick and mortar coffee shop. If there's that many people in the community that need help, then my thoughts is well, what else do? We need more Gerry's Cafes. Do we need more X? I don't know what we need, but without it doesn't sound like they're getting into a place where they could feel purposeful or they could feel like they belong, where you're shaping these 37 people's lives to give them a purpose and to make them feel pride. So as a creative, that's where my head was going with that. I was oh, wow, what else can we build? And kind of go from
Another
there.
vision of ours that Amy and I have talked about is that if other business owners could look at the example that we have set with our training of our employees and how successful our employees are, how independent they are in their jobs, they could hire in their business. They don't need to hire 37. But maybe they hire one or two, spend a little bit of extra training on the front end, and they will have a very successful employee, dedicated employee, loyal employee, and hardworking. Retention is not an issue, but the hard work is what I've noticed. Really wanting to please and work hard and learn. One of our baristas, he watched YouTube videos to learn how to make the latte heart, and literally studied and worked at home and practiced.
That's awesome.
And now he makes the latte heart on the lattes that he gives to our customers with a smile, with pride, and with love in that heart, in that latte.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of dedication that we have from these employees, and they really want to please. That's why there's so much joy in there, because when customers walk in, they're greeted with that. Welcome to Gerry's Cafe, that smile, that heart on top of the latte.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story. Yeah, I think about, kind of, we're talking again, and I'm going back to when we first met. It was 2020. I think you were video number 4 that we did. You're I was well, cool, we're going to come to your place. We're going to wear masks. You're we don't have a place yet. And I'm I got a backyard. There's a flag. We're going to see. And we made it happen. And, it was the first of the Love Your Neighbor series that we had envisioned for, and it pivoted on how we executed the nonprofits as we evolved. But it was very much at that essence of let's love our neighbors. And I feel like I'll always remember that because it's it's my backyard that we're having this conversation. But that was 2020. You started in 2018, I believe. And now we're sitting here approaching 2025. So it's been a minute. And building something is not easy, especially during a pandemic, especially when it's new to a community where you got to get community involvement to keep sustainable. And that's a big piece of it. As you reflect and look back over the last, 7, 8 years, how has Gerry's Cafe shaped you? I'll ask both of you that question. Whoever wants to go first. Paper, rock, scissors.
Wow. That's a heady one. It's a big one.
No small talk here.
Let's not parse it down here.
Yeah.
I think for me overall, I think for the longest time we were an idea.
Mm-hmm.
We were an idea in your backyard. We were an idea, and we were branded, and we were all over people's outfits and clothes, and we were branded all over the place. So to actually bring something to fruition, brick and mortar, hire the staff, grow the staff, and get to where we are today, that right there it's very satisfying, but we're far from done. So there's when you're in the muck and mire, you just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
It's what about Bob? Get back on the bus.
Yep.
Get back on the bus.
We are
fighting and pulling and tugging on the things to keep the business growing. That I can't get into that headspace in a sense, and feel all the feels, but to take something from an idea and hear some people not necessarily believe in us, not because they didn't believe in our mission, but they just didn't believe we could pull it off. It's kind of fun. That's a good time.
Did it.
We did it, but we have so much more to go.
Yeah.
We are far from done. I think ultimately, Natalie and I, our dream and our vision is when we're long gone, this is going, and there's more of them, and there's more of them, and they're going on forever and ever. And we're trying to take our little pebble in the pond and make it at least a boulder.
Yeah.
And Natalie hit it on the head. The ultimate, in my mind, would be for one of our employees to be poached by another employer.
Yeah.
To get
beautiful.
That would be,
Yeah.
where usually are defeated, like, oh gosh, I just lost that person. To me, that is the holy grail.
Mm-hmm.
That another business saw the value, saw the ability to take someone's skill set and say, oh, I can be a barista, I could be this, but they may want to work in an office. They may want to do some more, that possibility. So that's where my headspace is.
What stops businesses? You have more experience in this. I could guess things, but what stops businesses?
Fear.
Fear?
Yeah.
Fear of what they don't know, or money?
The lack of opportunity to engage with our employees, typically, other than Gerry's, outside of Gerry's, where are they seeing and engaging and getting to know people with disabilities unless they have someone in their family? So it's that unknown that puts up that wall of fear that might be too difficult for me to manage in my business. And when you provide the proper training on the front end and the belief and the faith in the person, they will surprise you in so many beautiful ways. Mm-hmm. So for me in this journey to see the idea, as Amy mentioned, come to life, but come to life in the human beings that we did this for, to see them grow, to see them be valued, to see them have purpose, to see them have a place, to see them work hard to prove themselves even though I knew they could do it, they have proven me like it's just so wonderful to see their work ethic and their place. And Gerry's is their place, and they own it and they make it work. They do all the operations in there, and the community too is now having this opportunity to get to know and understand and accept and include and embrace and celebrate. So through this opportunity, I do believe there will be employees who are asked to come to a different place of business. And I think that would be a huge success. Yeah. And they will shine. Absolutely.
Love Local will do that video too. And I think we need more of that. It's put in the work up front to train people correctly and to develop a loyal employee. Let's be honest. In the types of jobs we're talking about in the service industry, loyalty is very hard for these restaurants or for these other coffee shops. And we don't have to get into that, but you talk about, we don't want to go slow if you're going to steal their employees. That's all I ask. Let them train up. But if one of your staff members gets, and I can't wait to hear that story when that comes into play. For you, we're not going to let you get out of that big question about how has Gerry's Cafe shaped you overall?
Yeah. Just having that idea come to life. As Amy said, we had some naysayers, but never giving up on myself, never giving up on Amy, never giving up on the mission, just keep plugging ahead. Certainly I had days of tears during the pandemic that I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to ruin us, but it didn't. We got back up on our feet. Having community support and believers in us, small businesses in Arlington Heights that backed us,
schools too, right?
Schools, yeah. District 214, and they backed us, they supported us, they believed in us. So having that belief kept us going, kept me going for sure, and kept the mission going, that we never stopped. And so I feel like it allowed me to really understand and feel resilience, to really keep going during the hard times, never giving up on that dream, that belief that I knew this could really be successful for our people. That's who we were doing it for all along. Yeah. And when I walk in there and I see the success of Gerry's Cafe, based on every single employee doing their job as hard as they can with a smile and having their place, that's success. Mm-hmm. And so that idea turned into reality. That has changed me too. And just really believing that we could accomplish something and we could make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah, it's what I'm hearing you all say is you said it here a little bit, but you weren't stopping. There was a resilience in you. There was a perseverance in you to continue to keep going and to push through it. You talked about entrepreneurship. It's very much a little bit about entrepreneurship. Is you're going to be faced with challenges every day when you're building something, and it's easy to give up. But if you have a big purpose in mind, if you have a big why in mind, you just keep going and you push through those things. And even in the tough times, there still could be some joy, right or wrong?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I literally get up every day, put my feet on the floor and think, what are we going to do for Gerry's today? And I never stop that thought process of what can we do for Gerry's today to keep it growing, keep it moving, expanding.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So we talked a little bit about this, I think, in between, but what have been some of the biggest challenges you face? You've built this business and nonprofit in really tough times. So what has been some of the biggest challenges you faced that you want to share with the audience?
The first of anything is so hard. You think you have a plan, you have a process. And this was all new. I mean, we're taking all these tangibles, intangibles, like we're just trying to put them all together. And it's just really hard. Independent of who our workforce is and was planning to be, we have a first of a cafe. So we started everything from the ground up. So it's
a nonprofit from the ground up.
And a non-for-profit. But our ability to keep, and it's Kaizen, that 1% better every day. Just try to improve that little bit every day. Kept things going. But we have an incredible since day one, we've had an incredible group of people, one by one, just get behind us. So we never felt alone, but the support, the intellectual collateral and time and treasure that was given to this mission, not to Natalie and I, because we don't own it. People think like, hey, you own it. No, we're non-for-profit. But that's some blind faith. So overall for me, I'm very operational based. I love getting out of my own headspace by going into the cafe and just feeling that joy. But ultimately, we have to grow sales. That's our. We are successful. We have the products. We have the services. We need more customers. We need more customers and sales, and we're fighting the ecosystem for which we live in, which is cell phones, drive-throughs, things of that nature. And that's just not our business model.
Mm-hmm.
Our business model is to take 10 minutes, get out of the car. Yeah, you can go to Starbucks or whatever it is, order to the magic machine. What have you done for that 7 minutes to literally, you don't know it's 7 to 10 minutes that you've waited in line sometimes. You could have gotten out of the car. Hey, you're getting another 20 steps in, by the way, and change your mindset. Yeah. And so our biggest thing is growing our sales because we do have a very, very high payroll line. Our purpose and mission is to hire and to employ, and we are not deviating from that. And our other one is our craft food and beverage. So we need people to take some time, take 10 to 15 minutes of your time, get out of your car, come in and feel it, and leave with a commodity for which you could sit in your car, but you're going to get a way fresher, better product that wasn't baked in a commissary 6 months ago.
Maybe that's a challenge in the whole world. We want everything so quick, and we're right behind our phones. But maybe what we're missing is that community and that belongingness of like, I'm going to get out and I got to go quick, but I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee. I'm going to be in line with people. Maybe we start small talking because the world's kind of a hot mess right now. And if we're in our phones, if we're in these algorithms and that's all we're thinking, it's not really reality. Our reality is going into a place and being a part of a community, being with other people, talking with people that are similar to you and different than you. You know, I love efficiency. I am, believe you me, as a business builder, I like efficiency, but we can't have efficiency for the sake of community. And for the sake of like belonging. And I look at what you guys do, and I'm dead serious. I am happier when I walk out of there than when I go in. And I get a little bit of community. I get to feel like I'm part of the Gerry's Cafe crew, you know, and I think that's important for people as we heal through this time in history to like, just go into your coffee shop, support people that need help, you know, and so we can make our world a little bit more joyful, but a little bit more like look at it from an inclusion. Like let's let more people feel like that. If more of us feel like that, what do you think that's going to do to our society? Right?
Human to human connection is super important.
Yes.
And mental health issues are at the forefront. Being alone, feeling isolated, hiding behind a screen, those don't help your mental attitude. Coming into Gerry's, guaranteed. Changes your mental attitude. I was in there one day and a woman came in and she said, my dad died yesterday. She said, and the first thing when I woke up this morning was, I need to go to Gerry's Cafe because I know that will make me feel better. And she truly said she sat in there for an hour just to feel good, to feel a place where she knew it would lift her spirits. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that I think you get by coming into Gerry's Cafe, human to human connection, engagement with people you don't typically see, and truly a feeling of joy over delicious food and coffee.
And Jason, in some of the comments you just made, a customer came in 6 months ago easily, and you're trying to put time on it, literally said, if everyone would take the time to just get out of the car, walk into Gerry's Cafe and feel the experience, the world would be a different place.
Yes. Yeah.
That right there, put it in a jar, that's gold.
That's a change we've made in our community that we are really proud to have and be a part of this community, that this business provides that.
and you guys are loved. My church it goes to see you guys from time to time, and then my kids go to St. Peter, which is right by where you're at, and I've actually seen you at St. Peter before with Gerry's Cafe. It's there's been a lot of people that have supported you. People love you. We obviously need more support as we continue to grow and as you continue to evolve. Like my friends, being in Arlington Heights for business or anywhere in the northwest suburbs isn't a cheap place to do business, along with all the other costs that go into doing business. Much more than labor. It can go on and on with that. But you need more sales to be sustainable.
We do,
and that's a piece of it. But before we talk about that community, but what's the gratitude you have for the community that's backed you already? Because I feel like you all have some true supporters.
Oh my gosh, we have some regular customers who are amazing. I mean, they have their day, their time, their buddy who they meet there, and they know the barista, they know the cashier, and the cashier and the barista know them by name. And it's just so joyful to see that just regular, I'm making Gerry's my place. And so we have regular customers who we could not be more grateful for. But yeah, we've had the Schaumburg Business Association, the Arlington Heights Chamber of Commerce have backed us and brought in meetings there, small group meetings there, which really helps us choosing Gerry's to meet with a potential business contact, things like that. We are happy to provide. We've gone to several churches, St. Teresa, St. Peter's, St. James, several churches to just share our story so that more people are aware of what Gerry's is and what we can provide for the community. Really, we're still about awareness. Not everybody knows that where we are, what we are, what we do. So we're still trying to spread the word throughout our community. We are super grateful for those who have discovered us and who've made it a part of their routine, but we still have a lot more growing to do as far as people need to find us and come.
Yeah, and more people, like, let's be clear, like the more people that come visit Gerry's Cafe, the more opportunity you have to be able to increase sales. And when you could increase sales, your need to be able to hire more people and to help more people to solve the need in our community is there. You give good training, you're giving them good tools to do their job, and hopefully, like we talked about earlier, hopefully that helps people get poached as you continue to go. Which I never heard somebody say that before, but I understand it from your side. Yeah, it is what it is, but it's important. So, what can we say? The community that's out there now that hasn't been to Gerry's Cafe, like why I don't think we need to say why you need to come. You just need to come. But any words to them to from your hearts as I ask that question to like, yeah, what pops into your heart and mind?
I think a lot of people are the things I've heard. Oh yeah, I've heard about you. I keep meaning to go there. So I would action and ask, do it. Put it on your calendar if you have to. Put it in your phone if you have to. But just come in to Gerry's and then help spread the word. Invite a friend to Gerry's. Come in. We're now offering catering if you're doing a small meeting, a staffing, office, whatever, book club, whatever. Consider Gerry's. Box lunches, breakfast, bagels, baked goods. We bake everything from scratch in-house. Nothing is outsourced. We do everything fresh made sandwiches, fresh made salads, and fresh baked goods. So there's really good food that you can choose Gerry's first and know that you're making a difference in the lives of these employees. Yeah. When you buy from us instead of your big corporate box places, you really are changing a life. You really are making a difference, and you're helping them all feel like they have a place to belong and that they can contribute.
You just touched a hot button for me, and it's that it's supporting small businesses, supporting nonprofits that are doing good for people in our community. I love Starbucks, but screw it. Like, go to your small place.
This coffee is really good.
Yeah. Nothing against Starbucks or the Dunkin' Donuts of the world, those larger franchise corporate models. But if you look at a model like Gerry's Cafe, like two things. One, the money stays here in our local community, but it's even more than that. Now you're helping a group of individuals who haven't been able to have an opportunity to feel like they belong and that they feel like they're a part of something. And now you're solving that problem too. But in order for us to grow, and us as community members need to step up, and we need to be cognizant of like, maybe I need to leave my house 10 minutes earlier. Mm-hmm. And if your day is too full, look at what your day is consisting of. Because I do a lot in a day, mm-hmm. and people tell me it's full, and I'm like, like really, you could do more if you're present and you're intentional. And I think about supporting small businesses. I think about supporting organizations like yours. Going small, carving out that time, and so that we could not only stay alive and thrive locally, but we could also bring people up in our local community, because the money stays here. Like, what are we doing, neighbors? Stop the Starbucks, stop the larger chains. Small businesses are the ways, going through small businesses are a way that we could shape our community positively. We can't do anything about all this federal stuff that's going on, but we could love local. We could support our small businesses, and in turn, our small businesses either could become a nonprofit within it or support those nonprofits. Mm-hmm. So I'm on my soapbox, but I told you I got a hot button, but I feel it.
I like it. Ding.
But what's your, as we get ready to close up, we're in a state of the world right now, which I don't think any of us ever imagined that we would be in. And you know, it's crazy times. Some would say divisive times. What would your words of wisdom to the community be from each of you? What would be your thoughts?
Well, I think probably detach from our phones a little bit. Take that time. Muscle memory is strong. We do things habitually. If you're going to do something habitually, make it Gerry's Cafe. We could do that. We believe in the local aspect, and we believe in it because we were created to bring people together.
Yes.
We came to fruition because people believed, they had a sense of belief on an idea. You know, everybody has different ideas. Everybody has different beliefs. But in the end, we all want to feel like we matter. Mm-hmm. At Gerry's, everybody matters.
Like we belong. That's important to us. It's a human experience, right?
We don't want to be a place of division. We're a place of inclusion. And that's our entire premise. Love is there. We care for each other. We want positive things in our cafe, and you feel it. You feel the molecules. There's something real. When you say you walk into a room and you can feel the mood, like you can cut it with a knife. At Gerry's, you don't need a knife because you are in there and there's a buzz. The molecules are in motion. It's happening. And I think that's good for our mindsets because we can take that back out into the world and make the world a better place. So for me, what Gerry's is can really be a game changer in so many ways. And even if it takes 5 to 10 minutes out into the stratosphere and the atmosphere, if that goes out, that's 5 to 10 more minutes of positive outside those doors. Mm-hmm. And again, if we can help one person feel better every day,
let's go.
We've done our job, and that's, we're not done. We are far from done. We have so much more to give our employees and our future employees. We have a lot more that we want to bring on, but in the end, you know, we're not dividers. Mm-hmm. We're collaborators. We want to bring people together, and we just, you know, just be cool, everybody.
That's it. You know, don't be a jerk. And that word could go in other areas too.
Absolutely.
But if
be
you know,
cool.
if anger is coming on people, I just can't help but to say, like, where is that coming from? And what, you know, as a person that has struggled, to the people that are struggling, like, you could get better. But if you're feeling anger, if you're feeling hate, if you're feeling divisiveness, you need to figure out where it's coming from within, and it's okay. And there's grace and there's love along the way. But the divisiveness that we feel right now, when really all we want to do is belong and we want to be a part of something. And let's go in, let's talk to each other, let's figure it out. Thank you so much for sharing that, Amy. I know you got a little bit too.
Yeah, just one thing I want to say is physically, when we built the cafe, it was really important to me to have an automatic sliding door so that everyone was welcome without effort. There's no having to push a button. There's no having to have someone hold the door up for you. You can just come into Gerry's Cafe. That's how easy it is. Mm-hmm. That's what we wanted, that spirit of welcomeness, celebration, and inclusion for everyone. And for me, when I go to Gerry's, it's my joy stop. It literally can set your mind in a different way. So if you are feeling low, you're going to change immediately when you come into Gerry's, and then you can pay it forward. You will leave there feeling better, kinder, and then you can spread that joy and kindness to others in your path on that day. That's what I truly believe happens when people come in and they experience Gerry's Cafe. I will just share this quote that I received just because it impacted me. We can only do what we can do locally. We can only start with ourselves, and we can't fix the major, big global problems, but we can do what we can do here by ourselves. And this was sent to me by another nonprofit friend, and it said, just take the time that you need to grieve and process. But remember, our fear can never replace our faith in the difference that we can make. We'll be ready to do what we do best, and that is working for a world that sees and values everyone. So we'll continue working on that, seeing and valuing everyone who comes through our door, who's inside our cafe, and who we see on the streets after we leave our cafe.
Indeed. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. So people need to go to Gerry's Cafe. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I think we have to do a party there soon.
It's a behavior thing. We have to say it, 17 times?
Yeah.
Right? 17 times.
Something like that. So they need to visit Gerry's Cafe. They need to visit Gerry's Cafe. They need to visit Gerry's Cafe. Maybe you'll see me there. I come with my wife many times, so I'll introduce you to her too, at Gerry's Cafe in Arlington Heights. If people want to go to Gerry's Cafe and visit, because they're going to go to Gerry's Cafe
Absolutely,
and visit in Arlington Heights, on Arlington Heights Road.
1802.
Yeah, 1802, Arlington Heights Road. How can they connect?
Yeah, we would love for people to follow us on social media. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we are on TikTok. It's always at Gerry's Cafe with a G. And we are physically located at 1802 North Arlington Heights Road, which is the intersection of Arlington Heights Road and Palatine Road, just east of Route 53, easy access. Free parking, and delicious food, coffee, fresh baked goods, breakfast, lunch.
Breakfast sandwiches rock, by the
Breakfast sandwiches are amazing.
I could attest to that.
Yeah.
And the Big Ed panini for lunch.
Beautiful.
Named after one of our top supporters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's on this? Explain the sandwich.
Oh, it's so good. It is a panini, so it's toasted and melty cheese and turkey and bacon and yeah.
I just had it about an hour and a half
ago. And lettuce and tomato. And
all this at Gerry's Cafe at 1802 North Arlington Heights Road. Okay.
Absolutely.
Ladies, it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to help bring out your story again through conversation 4 years later. So I'm super grateful for you both. Keep leading with love. Keep leading and building a business that is full of joy, with wanting to make sure more people are included in our community, so more people can feel like they belong. That's important. So.
Thank you, Jason, for believing in us from the beginning during the pandemic and wanting to help us share our story and get more people to come to Gerry's Cafe. But thank you for believing in us from the very beginning. Absolutely.
It's important, ladies, and you're just getting started, and so are we. So hopefully we get to do this down the road, and we have to have another conversation about the growth or whatever else that happens. But my friends, 1802 North Arlington Heights Road, Gerry's Cafe. You have to visit, my friends. The world needs more joy in it. I think that's the best way to be able to say it. Get out of your car. Stop ordering your Starbucks on your phone, because it's more efficient. We need to talk to people. We need to be made to feel like we belong. If we stay in this thing all the time with how the algorithms work, it confirms those things that we're already feeling. My friends, that's not always reality. But what reality is hanging out with your neighbor, go into a coffee shop to grab lunch and to say hi people, or breakfast and say hi to people as they walk in. Open a door for somebody. Be nice, my friends. The world needs more of it. And I think you need more Gerry's Cafe at 1802 North Arlington Heights Road. But my friends, we love local, and we're just getting started. Support local, love local, and we're stronger together. Thanks so much for listening. Peace.